What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Command Point. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the new Imperial Guard Kill Team in the new Kill Team Shadowvaults box. Before we get going here, guys, I do have to give a big shout out to Games Workshop for sending us this advanced copy of Kill Team Shadowvaults. I'm super excited to get into the review for this Kill Team, so with that out of the way, let's just dive right in. Alright guys, so getting started with our review of the Kasrkin Kill Team, I'm going to be taking a look first at their army-wide ability, which is, of course, Elite. Kasrkin Kill Teams start the battle with a pool of 10 Elite points. Each time a friendly Kasrkin operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack, in the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can spend one or more of your Elite points to adjust one of your attack dice. Or excuse me, of your dice, one of your dice. For each point you spend, add 1 to the dice result and reduce the number of elite points in your pool by 1. So this is a really cool way of really just making these models do things in times and places where they otherwise normally would not be able to, which is a really interesting mechanic. Whenever I see something like this, I think it may be a little overtuned. But you know, you only start with 10. Um, this is kind of like my live reaction to going through the rules for this team, so there may be something later on in which adds elite points to that pool. Now we're going to talk about their tac ops. Taking a look first at vital objective. So reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. If this tac op is revealed at the end of the target reveal step of each turning point, select one objective marker that friendly operatives do not control to be your vital objective marker until the start of the next turning point. At the end of any turning point, if friendly operatives control your vital objective marker, you score 1 victory point, and if you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, score 1 VP. So this one, at first glance, it doesn't seem like it's going to be an auto take for me. It all depends on how reliably you think you'll be able to control an objective later on in the game, and it seems to me like this objective is going to take a lot of practice and I guess forethought, you know, in order to be able to successfully max score that one. Next up, we have Stand Fast. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if friendly operatives control 2 or more objective markers, and friendly operatives control more objective markers than enemy operatives control, you score 1 victory point. Seems pretty straightforward. It's pretty much just score more, or hold more, I should say, which is what you're going to be wanting to do anyway in this game. So if you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning points, you score 1 VP. This to me seems like it could be an auto take, depending on the matchup, I would think. You know, you want to hold as many objectives as possible already. This is just going to be rewarding you for already playing the game, which is something that I really like to do. Whenever I see a secondary objective like this in like 40k or something like this in Kill Team, I'm automatically drawn to it. Finally, we have Secure Zone. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. If that tac op is revealed at the end of the target reveal step of each turning point, place one of your Secure Zone tokens anywhere in the kill zone that is more than 6 inches from your drop zone and within 2 circle horizontally of an enemy operative. At the start of the next turning point, remove that token. At the end of any turning point, if a friendly operative is within 2 circle horizontally of your secure zone token and no enemy operatives are within 2 circle horizontally of your secure token, you score 1 VP. And if you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, you score 1 VP. So this tac op basically wants you to assault the enemy. It wants you to pick a point on the board, go assault that point, and kill everything on it. This one probably is not an auto take. It's going to be very matchup dependent. So overall, I would say take Stand Fast every time, and then looking at the actual archetype for the Kasrkins, you can take either Recon, Security, or Seek and Destroy. So I mean, you know, having one almost auto take tac op
is probably good enough for this team to be viable. Next up, we're going to get into their actual roster construction and the actual models themselves. First off, this is a team that consists of 10 operatives. First off, you have to go with a Kasrkin Sergeant equipped with either a bolt pistol and power weapon, a hotshot las gun and gun butt, a hotshot las pistol and power weapon, or a plasma pistol and chainsword. So let's just go ahead now and take a look at the model, um, see what the profile for these hotshot las guns is looking like. It's pretty much just a bolter profile for the pistol and the las gun, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, damage 3, 4. The las pistol, of course, has range 6. So probably every time, you know, once again, you're going to be wanting to take the plasma pistol and chainsword in this instance. Next, you have 9 Kasrkin operatives selected from the following list. You've got the combat medic, demo trooper, gunner with a flamer, gunner with a grenade launcher, gunner with a hotshot volley gun, and gunner with a melta-gun, and gunner with a plasma gun. The recon trooper, the sharpshooter, and then your standard trooper and a vox trooper. Other than the Kasrkin trooper, uh, operative, your kill team can only include one of each operative above. Your kill team can include no more than 4 Kasrkin gunner and Kasrkin sharpshooter operatives combined. So the fact that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different gunner options, you are going to have to make probably some tough choices when it comes to which gunners you want to run, depending on how good the sharpshooter is into your matchup. So taking a look at the okay. Yeah, taking a look at the Kasrkin Sergeant. A 3 circle movement, APL 2, GA 1, defense 3, save 4 up, 8 wounds, leadership in each strategy phase, add 2 elite points to your pool. So the thing I was talking about earlier with a way of adding more elite points to that pool. This basically means that I'm pretty sure you're going to be starting off the game with 12 elite points, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so that is pretty cool. Kasrkin players, you definitely want to keep this sergeant alive for as long as possible. Next up, we have the combat medic. He has got the same basic stat line as the sergeant, except he's got 7 wounds instead of 8. He's armed with a hotshot, las gun, and gun butt, and he has the medic ability. Once per turning point, the first time another friendly operative would be incapacitated, visible to and within 3 inches of this operative, and not within engagement range of an enemy operative. If this operative is not within engagement range of an enemy operative, this operative can revive it. That friendly operative is not incapacitated, has 1 wound remaining, and if it was a shooting attack, any remaining attack dice are discarded. That friendly operative can then perform a free dash action, but must finish this move within 1 inch of the combat medic. Subtract 1 from both operatives' APL. The combat medic also has combat stims for 1 AP. Select 1 friendly operative visible to and within an inch of this operative. That friendly operative regains 2d3 lost wounds. An operative cannot be selected for this action if it was revived using the medic ability during the same turning point. This operative cannot perform this action while within engagement range of an enemy operative. So, seems like a pretty solid model. It's your typical medic for an Imperial Guard-esque kill team. You definitely want to be keeping him close to either your sergeant or one of your many, many gunners. Next up here, we have the Demo Trooper. Same basic stat line. He's armed with a las pistol, or a hotshot las pistol, and a melta-mine. This is basically his whole identity here. The melta-mine has 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, damage 4-2 with AP2, proximity, and mortal wounds 3. Proximity means that when the first time an enemy operative moves within a circle of the melta-mine token, which you put down, you make the shooting attack against each operative within circle of that token with this weapon, even if this operative is not in the kill zone. So this is friendly and enemy can take damage from this melta-mine. When making those shooting attacks, those operatives are always valid targets that cannot be in cover. At the end of those shooting attacks, remove that token, and an enemy operative cannot make a shooting attack with this weapon by any other means, or if its melta-mine token is not in the kill zone. The plant Melt-A-Mine ability, it's 1 AP. Place your Melt-A-Mine token within an inch of this operative and more than a circle from enemy operatives. This operative can only perform this action once and cannot perform this action while within engagement range of an enemy operative. So yeah, an Into the Dark where there's, pretty obvious avenues in which you would expect your opponent's models to be moving down. If you can get this down early, you can shut down a corridor. So the thing about the Melt-A-Mine is that it is a mine. It is not like the demo charge or whatever it is, that weapon that the veteran guard demolitions specialist or whatever that model is called has. So you can't do the whole buff that model to 3 APL with its comm specialist, have it move, plant the charge, and then detonate it all in the same turn. Because the way in which you plant the Melt-A-Mine, it has to be more than a circle from an enemy operative. It only has the proximity special rule, so you can't attack with it just by planting it anywhere, and you have to plant it outside of that too anyway. So next up, we have the Kasrkin Gunner. It's pretty much just your standard stuff across the board. The hotshot volley gun I do want to take a look at. So that's 5 attacks, hitting on 4s, damage 3/4 with Fusillade and P1. It's probably safe bet to go with just Plasma Gun and Melt-A-Gun at a minimum, and then maybe the Hotshot Volley Gun and Flamer. The Flamer, just because if you're going to be playing on Into the Dark, which if you're getting this box you are, the Torrent type weapons, they get a bunch of buffs from the Close Confines rules that we went over in a previous video. Next is the Recon Trooper. So this Recon Trooper is pretty cool. He's got a couple of neat abilities. He's got the Reconnoiter Kill Zone. So in the scouting step, after resolving your selection, you can resolve an additional recon option, even if you have already selected that option. Initiative is still determined by your original selection. If both players have this or a similar ability, the defender resolves this ability first. So you could potentially perform, I don't know, 2 recon actions, essentially 2 free dashes with maybe the Kasrkin Demo Trooper, or maybe a gunner with some kind of powerful weapon like a Melt-A-Gun or something like that. Or if you're playing on like an open board, you could maybe get the Kasrkin Sharpshooter up onto a vantage point where you otherwise normally would not be able to. It seems like a pretty cool ability, and it might be a pretty powerful ability too. The unique actions, it has Warden Aspect for 1 AP. Select one enemy operative. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly operative makes a shooting attack against that enemy operative, the ranged weapon that friendly operative is equipped with gains the no cover special rule for that shooting attack, and that enemy operative is not treated as being in cover for the specified cover purposes of the elimination pattern strategic ploy and neutralized target tactical ploy. We'll get into those later. This operative cannot perform this action while within engagement range of an enemy operative. So this is like the aspects that I've been waiting for. Um, there's no range limit or anything like that. It's just simply select an enemy operative. Any weapons that are shooting against that operative get the no cover special rule. This is an awesome ability for a primarily shooting team. Next up, we have your what it feels like mandatory sniper type model. Uh, We've got the Kasrkin Sharpshooter, is a hotshot marksman rifle, and it's got 2 different profiles here, which is pretty interesting. It has the Sharp Shot, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, damage 3/4, and it also has the Snipe, so it's got 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, damage 3/3, with heavy, silent, and mortal wounds 3. That is really cool. Um, you can treat this model just like any other Kasrkin Trooper by shooting with basically what amounts to a hotshot lasgun profile, or you can actually, be a sniper. For his ability, the Kasrkin Sharpshooter has the Camo Cloak. Each time a shooting attack is made against this operative in the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack before rolling your defense dice, if it is in cover, 1 additional dice can be retained as a successful normal save as a result of cover. So, pretty cool ability. Next up, we have the Kasrkin Trooper. Standard stuff going on here, but it does have the Elite Trooper ability. Each time this operative makes a shooting attack, you can spend 1 elite point for free during that shooting attack, even if you don't have any in your pool. I mean, is it worth it to spam these guys at the expense of some of your other operatives in your roster? Probably not. Um, but that is a nice little bonus that you get for taking kind of like your box standard trooper. Let's go ahead now and take a look at their strategic ploys. So, first off, we have the elimination pattern strategic ploy. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly operative makes a shooting attack with a hotshot weapon, excluding the snipe profile against a target that is not in cover, that weapon gains the P1 critical hit rule for that shooting attack. A hotshot weapon is a ranged weapon that includes hotshot in its name, for example, hotshot lasgun, etc. So this one is going to be really good when you are, well, this is going to be a must use whenever you're up against a heavily armored team. For example, the new Space Marine Intercessor Kill Team that just released. I say just released, but I feel like it was like a month or two ago at this point. Um, yeah, really good way of buffing up basic hotshot lasguns, which your team is going to have a lot of, even if you're like taking the minimum amount of basic Kasrkin troopers you can. Next up, we have Safeguard. Until the end of the turning point, each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly operative, if it is in cover, you can reroll any or all of your defense dice results of 1. I mean, these models are, by their nature, they only got 8 or 7 wounds, but they do have a 4-up save. So being able to re-roll one of those, that makes them a little bit tankier than they otherwise would be. Next, we have Clearance Sweep. Place one of your Clearance Sweep tokens anywhere in the kill zone each time a shooting attack is made by a friendly operative within 2 circle horizontally of that token against a target within 2 horizontally of that token. In the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, you can spend 1 elite point for free during that shooting attack, even if you don't have any in your pool. And at the end of the turning point, you remove that token. Obviously, you're going to want to be using this if you are taking the secure zone tac op. They've only got, it's feeling like this elite point pool thing that we have going on here. It feels a lot like the Sister's Novitiate ability, just at a glance. It doesn't seem to me like it's as powerful, but it feels like I don't know, it just feels good. It feels good. It feels like this team is going to be able to punch well above its weight because of that. Finally, we have repositioned. Select one friendly operative that is more than 3 inches from enemy operatives. That operative and all other friendly operatives within 3 inches of that operative and more than 3 inches from enemy operatives can immediately perform a free dash action. You cannot use this strategic ploy during the first turning point. That seems like it can be pretty good. Another way to get some extra movement out of a kill team is always welcome, and having it go off on multiple models, that can be really nice. For tactical ploys, we're starting off here with Cover Retreat. Use the tactical ploy when a friendly operative is activated until the end of that activation, while that operative is visible to and within 6 inches of another friendly operative that is not within engagement range of an enemy operative. That activated operative can perform the fallback action for 1 less action point. That can be pretty good. Next is the Neutralize Target for 1 CP. Use this tactical ploy after rolling attack dice for a shooting attack made by a friendly operative. If the target of that attack is not ready and either has an engage order or is not in cover, you can reroll any or all of your attack dice for that shooting attack. That can be really, really good when used on some of your gunners. Next up, we have Seize the Initiative. Use this tactical ploy after rolling off to determine initiative. You can reroll your dice. This is a ploy that, at first glance, it seems like it would be a waste. You are basically spending a CP on a tac reroll, and it feels like every time you actually do a tac reroll, it never works out for you. But if the game is on the line, you absolutely need initiative. You have to reroll your dice if you want to win the game. And you have a CP. This can be. I'm talking about like a niche case here, but like it can be clutch. This can be a clutch ploy. Finally, we have Forcadia. Use this tactical ploy when a operative is activated. Until the end of the turning point, you add 1 to both damage characteristics of a gun butt that operative is equipped with, and each time that operative would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 5 up, that wound is not lost. So this one probably is not going to be as useful, um, but it is pretty cool giving a model a 5 up feel no pain. So finally, let's now get into the Kasrkin Kill Team's equipment. They have got foregrips for 1 EP, operative equipped with a hotshot lasgun only. The operative gains the following ability for the battle. Each time this operative performs an Overwatch action, do not worsen the ballistic skill characteristic of the hotshot lasgun it is equipped with as a result of performing an Overwatch action. That's pretty cool. Just for 1 EP too. That can be pretty nice. Gets you a lot more consistency with your shooting output from this team. Next is the long range scope for 2 equipment points. Operative equipped with a hotshot lasgun or marksman rifle only. They gain the following critical hit rule for the battle. Each time a friendly operative makes a shooting attack with this weapon against a target more than 6 inches from it, in the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, if you retain any critical hits, the weapon gains the no cover special rule for that shooting attack. That is pretty cool. Next up, we have the Adrenaline Shot for 1 EP. Once per battle, when this operative is activated, you can use this ability. If you do so until the end of the activation, you can ignore any or all modifiers to this operative's APL and movement characteristics. I'm liking this. It seems like there's a lot of, like, all of these equipment options so far have been relatively cheap, but I feel like they're worth it. They're worth taking. We of course have your frag crack grenades, and looks like we have stun grenades here too, which we've all seen before. I don't believe we've seen the decoy grenade, so I'm going to read it for you guys. It's 2 equipment points. Select 1 point in the kill zone within 6 inches of this operative. Roll 1d6 for each operative within 2 circle of that point, subtracting 1 from the result if that operative is not visible to this operative. On a 4 up until the end of the turning point, that operative cannot perform guard or overwatch actions. If they are already on guard, they are no longer on guard. This operative can only perform this action once and cannot perform this action while within engagement range of an enemy operative. So an interesting tech choice. I don't know how effective this will be in your games, and my knee-jerk reaction is to just kind of skip it and throw another long-range scope into this team. Overall, this team seems pretty cool. Unlike other, I guess, like human Imperial Guard, like centric teams, this team isn't really benefiting from like any sort of like auras or like comm specialist abilities or stuff like that. Each one of the guys, each one of the models, I should say, in this team are going to be they're able to punch above their weight by themselves just because of things like the leadership ability from the Kasrkin Sergeant, the elite trooper on the troopers, and the elite pool itself. It seems like this team, it's just, pound for pound. I keep saying it. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time I'm saying it. These models, they punch above their weight. So I think that's pretty cool for a 10 activation kill team. Their equipment choices look good. Their strategic ploys look good. Tac ploys look cool. Especially that seize the initiative and the neutralized target ones for the tactical ploys. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really stoked that the Kasrkins are finally back in a modern plastic model kit. I hope you guys are excited as much as I am for this team to be in Kill Team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. A special thank you to our supporters over on Patreon and our YouTube membership. If you want to support the channel, check out either of those 2 options. Also, if you want to check out the companion video to this one, my review of the new Necron kill team, the Hyrotech Circle, I think it's called, you can go ahead and find that down in the description below. or in the link at the end of this video. I should put it up sometime around here. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new and haven't subscribed already, please do so you don't miss out on any future Kill Team videos. I hope to see you all again in the next one.